In other news now, the Trump administration has announced a fresh set of tariffs to coincide with the one-year anniversary of the so-called Liberation Day tariffs, most of which were ruled illegal by the U.S. Supreme Court earlier this year. Our Do-yeon has details.
In light of the Liberation Day anniversary on April 2nd, Washington, D.C. time, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed proclamations to impose new types of tariffs. One of them is a flat 25% duty on imported manufactured goods made of more than 15% of their total content from steel, aluminum, and copper for goods arriving in the U.S. after 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on July 31st. This executive measure directly targets derivative products like washing machines and other home appliances. Before, a 50% duty was applied strictly to the value of the steel, aluminum, and copper components contained within the derivative product. South Korean manufacturers have consistently made up 40% of the market share in the U.S. home appliance sector.
There had been ongoing confusion at customs and among businesses, so they have created a more streamlined system. However, this places a heavier burden on exporting countries. While our administrative load may decrease slightly, the overall burden will grow for items facing higher tariff rates.
Simultaneously, Washington is targeting the medical sector, levying a 100% tariff on patented pharmaceuticals and their active ingredients. However, the impact on South Korea's pharmaceutical industry is expected to be contained. Under a bilateral agreement reached last November, South Korean pharmaceutical exports face a reduced 15% tariff, considered as a most favored nation. Furthermore, the U.S. proclamation explicitly exempts generic medications from these new tariffs.
South Korea does export some patented drugs to the U.S., but it primarily exports generic drugs. While a few companies might take a hit, the overall effect on the country's total pharmaceutical exports will not be that significant.
Also, according to the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Resources, the short-term export impact of the new 15% U.S. pharmaceutical tariffs will be limited by a one-year exemption for biosimilars, while Seoul plans to closely consult with Washington to ensure fair treatment on future trade measures. Do-yeon, 아리랑뉴스.